playing in the studio artist today. That was Tony Justice and Last of the Cowboys. And here we go with the Real McCoy, GM Blacktop. Join us for the show. Hope you're having a good one. Here we go. Real McCoy, GM Blacktop. He was on our In the Studio show. Check out all our In the Studio show artists on leadpedalradio.com. You can also find out about Tony Justice. He was a truck driver from the U.S. and got some great trucking. So we play a lot of his stuff on the road show. Same with GM Blacktop, truck driver as well, in the studio. All these artists are in the studio. So they've been on our In the Studio show, which we've done interviews with them, talked about them and their music, and we feature their music here. And this one here is a guy who is not only on the In the Studio show, but helped produce a lot of the other artists like Jamie Taylor and Joe Cleary and so forth. David Fitz, and I love his song Internet Radio. David Fitz, Internet Radio, one of my favorites. Check out his interview on In the Studio. He produced this next guy who's also from Newfoundland, little Jamie Taylor, and We Roll. It's one of the first songs Jamie ever sent out to me. Fellow truck driver as well.
Honey, put the radio show on. The one where that fella, you know that fella? He talks about the big trucks that fill up your rearview mirror. And he plays all them songs. What's his name? Bruce, yes. His name is Bruce. Put that Bruce fella on.
That's Mr. Mike Murchison. Thanks, Mike. This one's called It Ain't About Me. He wrote this in the pandemic. Also been on In the Studio. Great guy.
Well, it ain't about me.
Another one here. This one's Mr. Joe Cleary. He's also been a big supporter of our show, been on many times. You can check out his interview on In the Studio. This one's called There's No Place Like Home.
There's no place like home.
Little Joe Cleary for you right there. No place like home.
There's no place like home.
Joe's a local Ontario musician. Same as this next guy, Darren Bailey. From the Eastern Ontario, Oshawa area there. This one is called Dash. He wrote this for his father. Darren Bailey for you there with Dash. And just saw a message from our friend Mr. Blaine Jeffries listening, who's with the Crude Awakening Band. We're going to be playing some of their songs here shortly. But this one here is Frank Fletcher. He was also in the studio. He's from Alabama, and I love this song. He does Something in the Whiskey. Oh, there's something in the whiskey, all right. For sure. Hey, you know what? We have featured a lot of artists on our show. We feature a lot of new artists, but we also feature a lot of artists that are well known here. And it's not that I even we've got the Rolling Stones. Not that I've interviewed the Rolling Stones, but Jimmy Fallon interviewed the Rolling Stones. So we've got part of that clip plus some music from the Rolling Stones. We also have a feature on Bob Marley. Of course, Bob Marley's passed away. There's no way I can interview Bob Marley, but we did do a feature on him because we visited a Bob Marley exhibit, and of course we love his music here. So you'll see some stars on there that you probably may not that you know, and you're going, how did he interview them? Well, we still feature them. They're still in the studio. We find some way of a piece of an interview or something that we can play with them if we like their music. But most of them are from people that we are new artists coming up. That's kind of what the show is meant to be for. But it is actually just to educate anybody. And we've got one here from the Crude Awakening Band. As I said, Blaine Jeffrey is listening to the show. And Crude Awakening Band is a band out of Kitchener. Blaine is the drummer for the band. He's also in charge of the shop over at Sharp Transportation. And so they've got some great music. We've been working with them. And here's one that they've got. And the best is yet to come. And I think for 2025, the best is yet to come from Crude Awakening. Here we go. Oh, yeah, that was Crude Awakening Band, and of course they are great. That was Best Is Yet to Come, and we're going to be playing more of them for sure. But you know what? We've been playing a lot of music. We've got a lot of music from Caden Gordon. Caden Gordon was recently on our In the Studio. Now, Caden he's not an artist himself. He's an artist, promoter, and manager. So we're going to play a couple, but he sent us a lot of people like Todd Barrow, Wally Bartfay, Randy O'Neill is just a couple that have come in through Caden Gordon. There's a number of others that we've played, Marie Norris. So we're going to play a couple from Caden Gordon and also people that have been on the studio. Todd Barrow was on the studio, and this is one called Rockin' in the City. Oh, a little Todd Barrow for you right there, Rockin' in the City. Check out his interview on In the Studio for sure. We had a good time with him for sure. This next guy, Todd's out of Texas, I believe, but Wally Bartfay's out of Oshawa, and he has a song called It's Friday Night, and it certainly is, and I love this one. He was just recently on In the Studio, the end of 2024 there. Check him out. That's a good one. This lady was just featured not too long ago, Randy O'Neill. This one's called Olivia. She's got a great story as well. Check that out on In the Studio.
She has 2 kids.
So Randy O'Neill for you right there. She's out of the Massachusetts area. Or maybe she's gone down to Pennsylvania. I think she's down in Pennsylvania now. Caden Gordon's out of Massachusetts. I'll get it right once in a while. This next guy, though, I've had on the show a number of times. He was recently on In the Studio. Hunter Styles, and this one's called All These Highs. This is his latest one. He's out of Washington State. He's got some great songs we really enjoy. Check him out on In the Studio. Learn all about this young, talented boy.
Showed up in a limo.
A little Hunter Styles for you there. That's his latest one, All These Highs. He's playing across the U.S. at various festivals this summer. Check him out. This next lady's another artist that came in from Caden Gordon. She's a truck driver as well. This is Perfume and Diesel with Marie Norris. Check out her In the Studio interview. This one here is from Mark Dawson. He was also in the studio. He's part of the Grassroots, and this one's called It's 1967. A little Mark Dawson for you right there. It's 1967 once again. Lead singer of the Grassroots down in Florida. I want to check out his group Making Noise with Mark Dawson on Facebook. This next artist came to us through the Music Exchange. Big shout out to Kat and her team over there, helping new artists get promoted. She's got a great program, puts on a lot of live events. And this one came to us. This is a Burlington artist as well. It's called Jeff Pilon with I Do. Oh, here's one I like. This one is by the Thompsons. Pour Me Another Tequila. They've been big supporters of the show for sure. Check them out on In the Studio. All right, this next guy was Crackerbox Jimmy. He's a truck driver as well, and we featured him on In the Studio. To this song called Please Mr. Please. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for listening to the show, everybody. We really appreciate it. Thanks to RIMS Transport and RS2000 Tax Services for sponsoring today's show. Thank you to all the great artists. Go check out their interviews. They all have interviews on In the Studio show. That's our show where we interview artists about their music and themselves. All right, we'll talk to you later next time. Be good out there, because you know who it is.
You know who it is.
My favorite station. I love you guys.
Turn your radios up.